present, 27 sites have been identified as the provenance of your 3 administrative texts, in brackets, the number of the texts ascribed to that provenance considered as doubtful. Edeb, Tel Bismaya 116 texts, 16, Awal, Tel Al-Sulaima 3, Iyusun, Aradgu Archive, Tel Abjuwan, close to Nipah 215, 4, Inanna, Tel Asmar 156, Garana, east of Amma Province 1507, 20, Gassa, Jorgantip 1, Gersu, Tel 26619, 692, Irizagrig, Adams 1056. Close to Nipah 1148, 50, Isin, in Barrett 4, Ki, Tel Waimir 6, Kisera, Tel Abayab 4, Laga, Tel Aliba 2, Marie, Tel R8, 2, Nipah, Tel Nufa 3697, 35, Pusradag, Tel Drim 15647, 125, SI.AA Archive, Uncertain Prove 80, Sitpar, Tel Ab Abba 3, Sipamnum, Tel Eddia 1, Urupag, Tel Fra 3, Sizza, 75, Tel Ul Wilaya, Ancient Dabrum, 18, Tel Brusti, close to Shemshra 1, Tel in Miziad, 50, Tramil Archive. From Irizagrig, 59, Amma, Tel Oa 29940, 360, Ur, Tel Mukaji 4297, 20, Uruk, Walker 21, 2. Most of these sites have been officially excavated at one time or another, but when large groups of tablets have been found, this has generally been the result of looting, except for Ur and Nipah, and partly Gersu. Unfortunately, even in these cases no significant information about the way the tablets were archived could be obtained. Ur, Tel Mukaji, was regularly excavated by Leonard Woolley, from 1922 to 1934, but texts dated to the years of the Third Dynasty of Ur were found in secondary context, i.e., used as filling under the floors. 3 texts from Nipah, Tel Nufa, were excavated by the end of the 19th century and the middle of the 20th. Although several texts from illegal excavations can also be found in museums and private collections. Texts excavated in this site did not come, in any case, from large institutions such as those to which the royal or provincial archives of Pusri-Dag, Gersu or Amma belonged. Instead, the tablets from Nipah belonged to minor institutions or private archives that were organized in a simpler way. The most remarkable group of texts from this site belongs to the Administrative Archive of the Inanna Temple. 1,163 or 3 administrative tablets and or fragments were found there, but once again the bulk of them, more than 900, were found in secondary contexts, used as fill in a foundation platform during the Parthian period. From their contents, chronological distribution, and the scarce numbers of tags found, it seems that the process of discarding tablets after their incorporation into large summary accounts was more pronounced than in other provincial and royal archives. On the other hand, several clay ceilings found in a bin in Locus 1 and in the trash pit in the back courtyard, Locus 137, had been broken off jars, bags and boxes, or had secured doors, most probably those belonging to Locus 2 and 4. Possibly exemplifies the circumstances of the finding of other bully and clay ceilings from other sites. In 1894, Ernest de Sarzec excavated at Gersu, Tel, the capital of the largest and richest province of the Ur3 state, an enormous archive of some 30,000 cuneiform tablets, later identified with the provincial archive. Unfortunately, looters discovered the find spot shortly before de Sarzec's excavation and sold thousands of tablets, mainly dated to the years between Ulgi 44 and Amarsun 5, to museums and private collectors. Besides, the archaeological methods of that time were not refined enough and, despite the fact that tablets were found stored on clay benches, their position and organization were not recorded. Fate of the archives from Amma, Tel Oa, and Pusradag, Tel Drim, was much worse. These sites were intensively plundered since 1908-2009, Pusradag, and 1911, Amma. At Tel Drim, looters despoiled those known today as the Shoe Archive and the Treasure Archive, and notably the huge Royal Archive for Cattle Management, while the Governor's Archive was extensively looted at Tel Oa. The circumstances surrounding the Gulf Wars in 1991 and 2003 boosted new illicit diggings in these 2 sites, so that excavations were undertaken by the State Board of Antiquities and Heritage in Iraq with the aim of protecting them. These works unearthed the sole, and scarce, cuneiform documents from Umma and Puzredag discovered after official excavations. Other cuneiform texts from these two sites were possibly found in the course of illicit excavations and are being sold in the antiquities market. But it is not easy to distinguish them from other texts coming from earlier looting. Looting in the areas where the sites of Puzredag and Umma lay were also heavily plundered, and huge quantities of tablets dated to the time of the 3rd dynasty of Ur were thus found in the Umma province. The case of Garana is well known. In this royal town, whose exact location remains unknown, or in its surrounding area, an archive of more than 1,500 tablets from the household of Princess Saimatituran and her husband Ukabda was discovered and sold by looters. This area also belongs a small group of texts apparently from the household of Princess Ueta, a rural estate most probably very similar to the one belonging to Saimatituran, whose location cannot be ascertained either. The area of Puzredag and Nippa, a huge archive of no doubt much more than 1,000 tablets from ancient Irizugrig, was also found by looters. The exact position of Irizugrig remains unknown as well. The texts found belonged to the archive of Governor Erms, who was closely bound to the royal administration. Finally, it is worth mentioning the archive of Ardagu, most probably found by looters at ancient Eusun, a rural estate very closely located to Nippa. Sum up, more than 100 years of illicit diggings, and to a very minor extent of official excavations, have brought to light a vast corpus of cuneiform tablets that document the accounting procedures of different types of administration. Thus we have large quantities of texts from private archives, Nippa, Tramil Archive, SI.A Archive, Rural Estate Archives, Aradgu Archive, Ueta Archive, Garana, a Temple Archive, Nippa, Provincial Archives, Umma, Gursu, Irizugrig, and archives from royal institutions, Ur and Puzredag. All these texts show in general very similar principles of accounting and administration, partly inherited from earlier periods, and partly fully developed and used by minor and major administrations under the rule of your 3rd kings. A thorough description of them is beyond the scope of the present contribution, but some of the most representative ones will be presented below. Generally, with due exceptions, administrative texts deal with the movement of assets in a broad sense, persons, animals, objects, workdays, commodities, etc., or with their specific situation in a given administrative context. Texts thus recorded the incoming, outgoing, of assets to and from an institution or a private household, their movements inside them, or provided a snapshot of their existence in a particular moment and place, and of their relationship with other goods or persons connected to them, e.g. inventories, balanced accounts, lists of workers, etc. Other documents could be variants of types B, e.g. sale documents, loan documents, and C, e.g. letter orders, or in some way of type D, e.g. other legal documents. Depending on the kind and size of the administration where the documents were issued, one or other type of texts predominated. Private archive would prevalently keep record of texts of type A and B, and particularly of the latter in the form of sealed receipts. Institutions with more complex economic interests tended to keep more documents of types B, C and D, and more exceptionally of type A, as was the case of Puzredag. Large institutions, whose economy was strongly interrelated with the rest of the Ur3 state, were prone to keep an ever-increasing number of texts of type C, which also covered a much broader span of time than did small or medium-sized institutions. As said above, the great majority of our texts come from large institutions, i.e. provincial or royal archives, and are therefore chiefly of type C. This also means that they kept track of where items were at any one time, repeatedly mentioning them in several different documents. Theoretically, it would be possible to follow the passage of an item over offices, workshops or elsewhere in the institution, through an interconnected chain of documents, from its arrival until its expenditure or final destination. At Puzredag, a management and redistribution center for livestock, the delivery of animals was recorded at the Central Bureau through documents of a varied typology, depending on the organizational stage of the administration. An example of this kind of text would be the following. CST 1741 Sila for Yormiz Sigi, 1 MA with acute Zika Ili, 1 Sila for Zabar Dap 5, 1 Sila for Orodgu 10, 2 MA with acute Niga, Lu, Ikim ZDA, 1 Sila for Ilu UDDA Gan, 2 Sila for EDADA Saga, 1 Sila for Kurgiriani, Mukaks, Na sa 6 idap 5, iti izmdininezu, mu us sakimaki ba whole. U for 1 cam 1 lamb, from Erms, the cupbearer, 1 goat, from Zikil, 1 lamb, from the Zabardab official, 1 lamb, from Aradgu, 2 fattened goats, from Luakimzada, 1 lamb, from Iludag, 2 lambs, from Idada, the temple administrator, 1 lamb, from Ker-Irony. Deliveries. NASA received them. Date, Ulgi 47v1. Shortly after their arrival, animals were routed somewhere else within the Pusradag organization, for example, to the kitchens, or to their final destination, for example, the cult. In fact, pairs of texts record the receipt of animals and their immediate disbursement, as was the case for those recorded in the above-cited text, expended for cultic purposes by the same official on the same day. DT1, 415, 1 Sila for Dienlil, Mukux Yomizsigi, 1 Sila for Dinuska, Mukux Zabar Dap 5, 1 Ma with acute Niga Dienlil, 1 Ma with acute Niga Dieninlil, Mukux Lugakim Zda, 1 Sila for Dienlil, 1 Sila for Dieninlil, Mukux Edada, 1 Sila for Husaggalamma, Mukux Iludda Gan, 1 Sila for Dinana, Mukux Kurgirianai, Zabar Dap 5 Markim, 1 Sila for Euzigar, Mukux Orodgu 10 AA. Howlar Markim, U for 1 Cam, Kiene Sas 6 Tar Baz, Iti Izmdinazu, Mu Us Sakimaki Ba Whole 1 Lamb, 4, God in Lil, Delivery, from Erms, the cupbearer, 1 lamb, 4, God Nuska, Delivery, from the Zabardab official, 1 fattened goat, 4, God in Lil, and 1 fattened goat, 4, Goddess Ninlil, Delivery, from Lugikimzada, 1 lamb, 4, God in Lil, and 1 lamb, 4, Goddess Ninlil, Delivery, from Idada, 1 lamb, 4, the Hersaggalama, Delivery, from Iludag, 1 lamb, 4, God Nana. Delivery, from Ker-Irony, being the Zabardab official the commissioner, 1 lamb, 4, the Taboo House, Delivery, from Aradgu. Ayakala was the commissioner. Expended by NASA. Date, Ulgi 47v1, G47v1. As Christina Tsouparopoulou has recently shown, documents like this undated to the same month were put all together into a leather bag, KUDU 10, GA, closed,